Well, if you guys are big fans of Stardom, well, you guys are in the right channel. So, as you know, Stardom are on the road to Grand Dynasty, their next big show that will take place later on this month. However, we'll be should I say, catching up with their much recent shows. One in Takasaki that happened, of course, on the 16th of May, and then following day on the 17th of May in Korakuen Hall. All matches, of course, featuring preliminary matches, of course, involving the Grand Dynasty. However, of course, the Korakuen Hall features two title matches. The first one, of course, is the high speed belt. Yuna Mizumori once again defends her championship against Cena. However, this match, of course, marks as Zena's final time being here. And then we move on with the artist belt. Hate finally defends him against her longtime rivals, Stars. So this is going to be a very interesting show. And then, of course, to wrap up our episode, as usual, we have some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. In the world of wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-timey news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers. Let's get started. So as I said, it's all about Stardom. So let's start with their show in Takasaki. Okay, Stardom in Takasaki. This happened recently on the 16th of course, of May, this past Saturday, in the G-Massey Gundam, of course, in the Gundam Prefecture, in case anybody asks. We opened up with trios actions. We have Stars, Momokogo, Sayaida, and Hanan taking on Hate, consistent of Sayakami Tani, Rina, and Konami. Now, obviously, we know that, of course, Hate are looking forward to see B. Priestley defeat Hanan to bring back the white belt back into its rightful place. And of course, you all know how Hate operates. They like to cheat, they use dirty tricks. That's always been, of course, their tactics. But however, it was Kamitani on Momokogo with the Star Crusher, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. However, of course, we did see Rina once again doing a promo, gloating at her sister and, of course, her teammates. And, of course, it's led to the following day involving the Artist Championships on the line. Now, our next match is a three-way match. We have Emma Maishima versus Waka Tsukiyama versus Ami Suri. Now, once again, Waka, well, let's just say she got her ass handed to her, you know, giving her a nice spanking. But what's also interesting that Waka had to deal with Ami Suri. But once again, for those who don't know, there's a bit of history between these two ladies. If you know Waka's past, she was part of Atlas Girls. Ironically, Ami Suri was also part of that too. They used to be very close friends until, of course, Ami Suri was 100% committed to join Shuri and the God's Eye. And that was pretty much it. However, apparently, Ami Suri was able to pick up the win when she applied the Blue Thunder Bomb onto Maishima, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Ami Suri picked up the win. Next up, we have, of course, an interesting matchup part of the preliminary that will happen, one in Korakuen Hall and the other at Grand Dynasty. We have Cena. She teams up with, of course, FWC, Koguma and Ozuki. They take on Yuna Mizumori and O2 Line, Miyu Amasaki, and, of course, Azumi. So that pretty much tells it right there for all of us. Now, obviously, we know that Xena will be challenging for the high-speed belt the following day, but we'll get to that at some point. And, of course, FWC challenges O2 Line for the tag belts at Grand Dynasty. So, basically, you have two preliminary matches involving in two different events that will happen differently. And I thought the match was pretty good, but the one thing they need to be more careful is with Koguma. That little sneaky bear will try to get you to do the Koguma dance. Yep. But it did not work that often. But however, Azuki, of course, many of you who don't know this, Azuki and Azumi were once teammates in Queen's Quest. Now, I think some of you who are new to Stardom are questioning, wait a minute, they really were teammates? Yes. Azuki, along with Momo Watanabe and Io Sky, were the original founders. And Azumi joined when Momo was out of action due to an injury that led her to join, and that's how the whole thing began. But of course, Azuki knows exactly how Azumi thinks. Basically, she's very smart. I don't know if Azuki had any indications of training her. That's something I don't know. But she was able to outsmart her when she applied the Mahistral, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have God's Eye, consisting of Kyoka Kotatsu, Lady C, and Hina. They take on Matoi Hamabe. She teams up with the Cosmic Angels, consisting of Aya Sakura and Natsupoi. Now, nothing too special about this match whatsoever. But, of course, this match was pretty good. But Hamabe was the one who ended up taking the fall for this one when Kotatsu applied an armbar, and just like that, she just tapped out. Now, our next match, we have an interesting four-way tag team match, of course. We have BMI 2000, members of Hate, consisting of Raka and Atsuko Tora. Then we have Hane Mate, of course, consisting of former EXV members Hanako and Maika, versus Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Kiri Kurigani and Suzuki, versus Rianne and Starlight Kid. Now, what's interesting, for those who don't know, Rianne has been acting like a 12-year-old here in the course, stomping on everybody's foot. Doesn't matter who, it's either wrestlers or refs. That's what she's been doing the entire time. Even Starlight Kid joined in on the fun. But unfortunately, that didn't do any good for her, because her former teammate, Hanako, put her in the JP coaster, and just like that, blammo, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match is, of course, part of the preliminary that would happen at Grand Dynasty. We have Kyoko Furuzawa and Maki Ito, or what later will become known as Ito Respect Army. They're taking on our current champions, our Future of Stardom champion, Rana Yagami, and our World of Stardom champion and one half of the New Blood Tag Team champion, Sayaka Kurara. Now, remember, these two ladies will be these two championships will happen in Grand Dynasty, so that kind of sets it up. But however, Rana Yagami really is showing exactly who she is. She was the one who picked up the win when she applied, of course, the Beat Buster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Rana Yagami picked up the momentum. But however, Maki Ito decided to steal the spotlight by doing a little promo, because they have a brand new banner, and of course, Yuna Mizumori and Aya Sakura decided to check it out. They're like, it's not even thin enough. And of course, Maki Ito was a bit livid that they're touching it. I mean, but of course, Kurara is like realizing no matter what, Maki Ito will be who she is. I mean, the problem is this: normally, it's the people who win are the ones who speak, not the losing team. But Maki Ito, well, she doesn't care. I think. I mean, that's who she is. I don't care. Just f off. But of course, Rane Agami had to close the show, and Kurara gave her the spotlight for that. So, nice job. So we'll see what happens in Korakuen Hall. Let's do that right now. Okay, final review of our Stardom episode, of course. They make it back to Korakuen Hall, and this has happened this past Sunday on the 17th of May. Now, we opened up with Aya Sakura teaming up with Kyoka Kotatsu, and I thought it was a pretty interesting team up because A, they both are experts in karate. They're in martial arts experts. And so is their opponents, of course, members of God's Eye, consistent of Tomoka Inaba and Shuri. Now, obviously, we all know that their backgrounds, and I think this was a pretty good match. But if you guys notice, Aya Sakura was wearing a different type of wrestling gear, and this is the one that was given to her by Shuri. And I think Aya Sakura wore it as an appropriate way to, pay respects to the one person who saw in her potential, because it came from the same background, even though she didn't join God's Eye. But anyway, it was a pretty good match. But Shuri was the one who picked up the win onto Kotatsu. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, we have another three-way match. We have, of course, Matoi Hamabe versus Rian versus Waka Tsukiyama. Now, of course, Rian being 12 years old again, stomping on people's foot as always. But I thought the match was pretty interesting. But in the end, it was Rian who picked up the win with a Northern Light suplex onto Hamabe. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, Waka couldn't believe that she didn't make it in time. But later, he did see her wobbling back into the backstage with one foot. Next up, we have an interesting 8-person tag match, and I think this was intensified. We have, of course, Hi My Mate, consisting of Hanako and Maika, teaming up with Miva Loka, Akira Kurigani, and Suzuki. Their opponents are Emma Maishima and the Ladies of God's Eye, consistent of Lady C, Hina, and Ami Suri. But of course, I had a feeling that there was going to be tensions between two people that really don't like each other, and that is Zuzu and Maika. There have been mistakes from both sides. But of course, they took their fight to the back, leaving both Akira Kurigani and Hanako all by themselves. But the person who suffered the most was Kurigani when she was taken out by Hina with the modified jackhammer. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. It's over. Now, President Okada, of course, made a huge announcement. Now, amongst those announcements, I already reported it on the last episode. If you guys don't know, they mentioned about a strategic partnership with MLW. Many of their talents will be making their way over there. So yes, this is something they do. Now, keep in mind, guys, they are going to still work with AEW/Ring of Honor. So no worries there. But I have to say it's a pretty good one. But they also addressed Stardom Project 2026. They mentioned certain people will be participating in this. Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, Rani Agami, and I forgot who else. But yes, that's some good news coming from Stardom's president, Toru Okada. Now, our next match, we have an 8-person tag match. We have Fuwa-chan teaming up with Starlight Kid and the Ladies of Cosmic Angels, consistent of Sayori Anu and Natsupoi. They take on Hate, consisting of Azusa Inaba, Saika Mitani, Raka, and Natsuko Tora. Now, when it comes to Hate, we know their tactics. They always use weapons, distracting referees, having their seconds helping them out. But however, that didn't do any well for them because it was Sayori Anu who picked up the win when she applied a German suplex on Azusa Inaba. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, se acabó. Now, our next match, this is for the High Speed Championship. Yuna Mizumori makes another defense against Xena. Now, this was a very difficult, challenge for her because she knows she's not dealing with a high speedster. She's dealing with a total powerhouse. And Yuna Mizumori decided to combine powerhouse and high speed together. And I have to say, they're a good combination. Now, you would have assumed that Yuna Mizumori would have lost if that was the case. But no, she did everything humanly possible to try to hold on. And I think this was one of the toughest challenge she's ever been in. And luckily, she was able to apply a, a pinfall onto Yuna Mizumori and onto Xena. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Mizumori retained the championship. And of course, there were some exchanges between them because, as I mentioned earlier, this was Xena's last match being in Stardom. I don't know exactly where she's going to go from here, but yes, that's what we've been hearing. So, it's a great time to see her, but don't know if we will ever see her again. I don't know how long her tour lasted, but yes. So, we'll see what happens from there. Now, our next match is the Artists of Stardom Championship. We have, of course, the challengers Stars, Momokoko, Sayaida, and Hanan taking on Hate, consistent of Fukigen Death, Rina, and of course, Konami. But what's also interesting is that Stars decided to use a playbook from Hate. For those who don't know, Hate like to attack their opponents before the belt attacks, like in the ring. And of course, Stars decided, you know what, screw it, let's go for it. And that's exactly what they did. But of course, this was not going to be a simple task because, of course, they want to dismantle Hanan because the idea of what they want is for Bea Priestley to defeat Hanan and bring back the white belt where it rightfully belongs. And they've been targeting her the entire time, targeting her arm. And that's something that Konami has been known to do because, for those who don't know, Konami and Bea Priestley are not just teammates. They're really good friends and tag partners. And that plays out pretty well, too, for them. But of course, the Triangle Lancer was played out by Konami onto, of course, Hanan, and just like that, they tried to dismantle her in every way possible. But thank God for members of God's Eye, consistent of Hina, Lady C, and Ami Suri showed up. And then, of course, we had Akira Kurigani from Mi Vida Loca making her presence known, and so is the Cosmic Angels Natsupoi, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori. Now, it doesn't take a genius what exactly this is about. If you guys know what I'm talking about, this is about the artist belt. So they want to be the next challengers. So in the next show, before we get to Grand Dynasty, there's going to be a #1 contendership for these championships. So we'll see what happens after that. But the real question we ask ourselves, how is Hanan's going to be now? We know that Hate will do whatever it takes to dismantle her to ensure that they have a very good chance they win this belt by cheating. That's what they want, but we'll see about that. Now, our next match is part of the preliminary matches involving Grand Dynasty. We have FWC consistent of Koguma Nazuki along with Kiko Furuzawa and Maki Ito. They're facing against the champions. Rani Agami, who is the current future Stardom champion, will defend her belt against Furuzawa. Then we have the current Goddesses of Stardom champions, of course, our tag champions, O2 line, consisting of Miyu Masaki and Azumi, which, of course, they'll be facing FWC, Koguma Nozuki. And then finally, Sayaka Kurara, who is our current red belt champion, or the World of Stardom champion, faces against Makito. So this is a bit of another preliminary match revolving of that. So that was the whole thing. And of course, it was going to get chaotic. Not to mention, you got to be more careful with the bear because she'll try to make you do the bear pose. But luckily, it did not happen. I know that Koguma would try to do that to Ranigami because she's been torturing her for that for a long time. But in the end, it was Kurara who picked up the win when she did the Tokimiki Spear onto Furuzawa. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. So basically, Kurara and her teammates, the other champions, get the momentum here. And then, of course, it's closed down with a big promo. And then, of course, Kurara closed down the show. So I don't know when their next show is, but we do know that their Grand Dynasty show will happen later on this month. So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, we'll end things here. We're done with reviewing. Let's move on to our last and final thing to end our episode with some news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events, starting with GCW. As you know, they will be in Atlantic City for a 2-day show on the 6th of June for the Tournament of Survival 11. The eighth participant is Anakin Murphy. Now, I don't know much about this guy, but if you guys know who he is, please leave a comment down below for that so I can get more about him. Then we got, of course, June 27th in LA for America's Most Wanted. They announced Joey Janela versus Hollywood Haley J. And then, of course, we have the event in Hartford, Connecticut, You Only Die Once. Names have been mentioned. We have Acticus and Otis Koger as individual wrestlers, so I'm assuming that they will be in singles action. We do have Bear Bronson involved, Buster and the Brain, Alec Price, and Jordan Oliver. And then finally, Gabby Forza. So that's pretty much for our GCW updates. Now, as you know, on the 23rd of May, we have House of Glory with Raging War. It was announced that the Tag Team Championships will be on the line. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff, will defend them against the Super Smash Brothers, or as many of you know them as Dark Order, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. So many of you don't know this. They are, before they became Dark Order, they were known as, of course, the Super Smash Bros. Due to the video games and that sort of thing. If you ever knew their career. And then, of course, the House of Glory Cruiserweight title will be defended. Infamous defends it against Leo Rush, so that's going to be a very interesting one. And then, of course, we have West Coast Pro with the Cruel Summer on the 20th of June. The Golden Gate Championship will be on the line on a 4-way. Andrew Cass, our current champion, will defend it against Dustin Nguyen, JT Thorne, and of course Jesse Funaki. For those who don't know who Jesse Funaki is, Jesse Funaki is the son of WWE retired legend, of course, Funaki. Yeah, it's the same Funaki, you guys know him. If you guys are back or from the who are part of the Attitude Era, you know who he is. If those who don't know who he is, look him up. You probably will enjoy his dad. He's awesome. Now, on to some developments. NWA has announced, and it was reported by Fightful Select, that they signed this guy named Hayden Backlund. I heard his name before, but I cannot recall where. Hopefully, I'll do my research on that. Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling has announced that one of their own, Shino Suzuki, will be taking a break from wrestling and idle activities. It's still unclear what's going on that part. But I hope she's doing okay. I mean, I hope we don't go into another Hikari Noah situation, because that's the last thing we need. And then, of course, many of you know Zoe Stark, who, as you probably know, she was released by WWE recently. And after her 90-day no-compete clause is over, she will be going by a different name, and she just unveiled it. She calls herself Zoe the Purist Zorano, so that's going to be her new in-ring name. I'm not 100% sure if it's true, but there's been rumors and speculations that Anna Jay may have re-signed with AEW. Now, we do know there was talks recently about her, that her contract was up. That's about it. Now, recently we did see her in AEW facing Willow Nightingale for the TBS Championship and lost. And then, of course, during Collision, we did see her saying hi to her tag team partner, Ty Mello. Most likely, if it's true, but we're not 100% sure yet. If I do get information about that, or if anybody knows, please leave a comment down below, please. I'd like to know. And then finally, as you all know, there's been talks about Kairi saying where she go next. Now, however, reports are coming in that Kairi has decided to follow AEW boss, of course, Tony Khan. Now, I don't know about her non-compete clause, what it could end, but there has been talks that there is a possibility she could go to AEW. I know Tekla mentioned that Tekla would be a perfect asset for AEW. I mean, Tekla respects her reputation for what she can do, and I'm sure Tony can vouch for that, and I'm sure many other Japanese wrestlers who are currently in AEW would agree with that. I'm sure that's going to happen, but we're going to have to wait and see, folks, until it's 100% true. So what do you guys think? Should Kairi go to AEW? Because I know people said that WWE might have flopped in her last appearances that she made in WWE. But, I mean, that's how things are over there. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, leave a comment down below what you guys think about that. So, as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have NXT, of course. A lot of things is going to be chaotic at the moment. I mean, we got Mason Rook and Cam Hendricks and many wrestlers targeting our champions left and right. So this is going to be a tough challenge for them. But I can't wait to see how things will go from there. But for right now, let's see what happens. I haven't decided yet if I want to do another review or any other reviews, but let's just wait and see. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.